Hey, good morning, East Texas. I'm meteorologist Sara Blue. Thanks so much for joining us on the CBS 19 Plus live stream. We're live on CBS 19 Plus and on Facebook and on YouTube. I'm tracking storms that are currently moving through the area. I'll be monitoring the Facebook comments and checking them periodically. So if you have questions about the storms that have come through or what we are expecting over the next several days, I'd be happy to answer them for you. Just drop them in our Facebook live chat. Now, we're starting off with plenty of showers as we get started this morning. A lot of the rain has already cleared from our area. It's impacting the I-20 corridor in areas up along I-30. So let me just walk you through a few places that I'm watching. Tons of rain right now coming down in Mount Pleasant back to Telco. This is going to be a bit more widespread heavy rain, not a ton of gusty winds locked inside of this system. Where we are seeing some gustier winds, that's off to the east. This line that I'm tracking from I-30 to the west of Douglasville, west of Linden, where we're seeing lots of lightning, all the way down toward parts of Longview, stretching into Henderson. You know what? Let me just see if I can get a check of our velocity here. So I'm going to switch over where we're seeing the reds and the greens. That's just going to give us a check of how gusty those winds are. So far, we've seen a lot of like 35 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts come through out of this. And a lot of what we're seeing is going to be very similar to that. I'm going to go ahead and check what we're seeing on air. This is just radar sampling, what we're seeing, about 10 miles per hour. So not quite as gusty winds. That's good news. A lot of this has really begun to calm down after some of the stormy weather that we had come through earlier this morning. Let's switch back over to reflectivity so we can see what's going on here. I'll turn off our storm tracks. That way you don't see those little thunderstorm icons floating around your screen. Lots of lightning just to the east of Longview and west of Jefferson. Given what I'm seeing, this little bubble that's right here to Tarleton, that's where we are seeing the possibility for some small hailstones. A lot of us have been seeing very small, we're talking about the size of a pea, hailstone sizes come down. So Harleton, just make sure that you're staying inside. Lots of lightning off to the east of Dangerfield, and this does continue all the way up. Now, this isn't necessarily moving off to the east like you would think that it would. It's more so climbing up to the northeast, so it does have a little bit of easterly track. But this is going to move up, and you're going to get stuck in it for a little bit longer than you usually would with something like this on radar. So once you're in this storm system, just be prepared. It'll last 30 minutes to an hour before you finally get some of that stormy weather clearing out. Now, deep East Texas, you had a lot of these storms run through earlier this morning before the sun came up. You finally have a chance to relax as we are just tracking isolated showers and thunderstorms at this point. Heavy rain right now in Jacksonville, parts of Mount Enterprise, and all the way back toward Palestine. But I'm watching our next storm system. That's popping up off to the south toward Houston. And I mean, if you take a closer look at all of this lightning that we've been seeing. This stretches from areas off to the west. This is west of 45 toward Franklin, Madisonville, Bryan, tons of lightning out there. But check out all of the lightning and stormy weather that's near Houston. Hail, gusty winds down there. We've seen a few marine alerts get issued just due to all of the wind causing some turbulence out on the ocean in the Gulf. So that is on its way to us. You can see the track going up again to that northeast track. Now, plenty of rain has come through as we've had all of this stormy weather come through. Right now, I'm eyeing in on this area near 45 near Corsicana and back toward Mejia. We have had on and off flash flood warnings over there. There was an observed flooded area by emergency management. So where you're seeing this blob of red pop up on your screen, our radar estimates are putting that at about 3 to 4 inches of rain over the past 6 hours or so. And we did have some confirmed reports of flooding in that area. So just make sure you're staying cautious if you're taking 45 later today, especially if you're passing the Corsicana area. Still, though, plenty of rainfall. You can see the key on the upper left-hand corner of the screen. That's where you can get an estimate of how much rain has fallen in your your city, and you can match the color to the corresponding amount of rain. Lots of rain in the Canton area as well. Radar estimates are putting that about an inch or so, if not closer to an inch and a half of rain, maybe even close to 2 inches. Same back toward Mount Pleasant and into Sulphur Springs. Not a ton of rain has made it to areas off to our southeast. So Sabine, St. Augustine counties, you guys are staying pretty dry. Same towards Shelby and Panola counties. But you may see some rain later today. Right now I have us at about a 50 to 60% chance of rain in there. And that's because not all of us are going to see rain, but a lot of us will today. So here's a look at your future skycast. Plenty of showers and thunderstorms are continuing to race through our area, and it is going to stick with us for the remainder of the afternoon. I am tracking that one little storm system that I showed you that's off toward the Gulf Coast. This is rising and running through East Texas through the rest of the afternoon. But now the good news is once we get a lot of this out of here, and it will be a few hours until we are dry, we finally get a chance to dry out after sunset. You may see an isolated pocket of rain, but we won't necessarily have all of that thunder and all of that lightning that we've been tracking over the past several hours and through this morning and through yesterday. So we're just going to continue to track mild weather overnight. Now, the biggest risk to us over the next several days, specifically today though, is going to be flooding. We are currently under a flood watch that goes all the way through tomorrow evening. And what a flood watch means is that it could flood. There's a likelihood that we could see flooding. Not necessarily that it is happening right now. For that, you need to have a warning or an advisory, which we have already seen get issued already this morning. But that watch just means that it could happen. Now, we are tracking an elevated risk of flash flooding, a level 2 out of 4 for most of East Texas. That level 3 is popping up just off to our southwest. That includes parts of Houston and Trinity counties, as well as areas in central Texas. So that's where we will likely see numerous flash floods. We've already had a couple of flash flood warnings that issued for this area, highlighted in pink. So if you live in Crockett and even in Palestine, where you're right on the edge of that level 3, I would recommend staying extra cautious. Remember to never drive into floodwaters. Turn around, don't drown. We've had some unconfirmed reports already for parts of East Texas where there have been some vehicles that have been impacted by flooded roadways, so just make sure you're staying aware. Now, besides flooding, we could also see some gusty winds and hail. That's why there is a level 1 risk across all of East Texas today. There's not a single one of our counties that is outside of that level 1. So we are tracking gusty winds. A lot of us will see wind gusts between 35 to about 45 miles per hour. Now, occasionally we may see one of those wind gusts reach a severe level. For that, it has to be about 60 miles per hour. So we could see some wind damage. More so, the thing that we're going to see in terms of wind is we could have a moderately strong wind gust. Well, because we've had so much rain over the past several days, it doesn't take much to see some of these trees get knocked over or to see a limb get knocked down. Just because we've had so much rain, the trees aren't anchored as well as they usually are because the ground is soft. So make sure that you are staying aware and just keeping an eye on your surroundings, especially as you're out driving. That way you don't run into any issues for debris out there. Flooding, though, by far the biggest thing to watch out for. But guess what? We're not done with the rain. We are going to wake up to some sunrise showers tomorrow morning. I suspect we'll see some gusty winds out of this as well, maybe some pockets of hail, but a lot of this is set to die down by the time we make it to around sunset tomorrow. So there is a chance to dry out, and it really becomes scattered through the afternoon. Now for tomorrow, a level 1 risk of severe weather. Again, an isolated strong wind gust, maybe some pockets of hail, nothing terribly widespread, but just make sure that you're staying weather aware. Now, once it's all said and done, so once we get to tomorrow evening and these showers and thunderstorms clear out, we could pick up between 1 to 2 inches of additional rainfall between now and 9 p.m. So that doesn't count what we've already seen this morning. We've already seen quite a lot. We'll get more information in once we get to the afternoon, and some of those rainfall totals are confirmed by the National Weather Service. We'll certainly have a number for you tomorrow morning if you join us on Morning Y'all. But lots of rain out there, and that's why we have all of that flooding, those flood alerts going out. Remember, a flood watch in effect all the way through tomorrow afternoon. In the meantime, not all of us are seeing rain right now. We kind of have a bit of a lull in the weather pattern. There are lots of clouds across the area. It's going to be gloomy. Maybe it's time for that extra shot of espresso. Temperatures are currently sitting in the low 70s. I think that we could warm up just a little bit more. Now, we will be battling that cloud cover I think we'll only make it to about 81 in Tyler. A little bit cooler off to our west in Emory and in Canton. Tonight we'll drop down somewhere into the 70s. A few 60s are possible. Isolated showers passing clouds. Everything is going to be very mild. Hey, happening tonight, the full moon. Well, actually happened earlier this morning, but it will still appear full. This is a photo that was sent to us by Aaron. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Aaron. Aaron took this with beautiful shot of the moon. It was full overnight. It really reached fullness right around that 3 a.m. mark. And wow, what a stunning photo. Thanks so much, Aaron. If you have any moon photos or you want to send them to us on our email, whether at cbs19.tv, we'll feature them on our show here. And of course, we want to show you guys some appreciation. But hey, we will likely see some showers and thunderstorms overnight, so maybe not a good shot of the moon. Right now, lots of clouds. I'm going to take you out to one of our TxDOT cameras. This is just a few moments ago. This is on I-20 and State Highway 19. It's facing off to the west. You can see quite a menacing looking storm system if you look on the left-hand side of your screen. This is in Van Zandt County near Canton. Lots of turbulent clouds out there, but really can really see those rain showers popping up if you continue looking off to the west. We have another TxDOT camera for you. This was out in Kaufman County, again on I-20. It's at the crossroads of Wilson Road, if you know where that is. But again, Kaufman County, so a little bit off to our west. Lots of rain has come down. You can see as those cars are moving by, rain and all of the water is getting thrown up behind the vehicles. As we see more rain, we'll likely see more wet roadways like this. And there is a real concern when you're going through something that is a very wet highway. Not only are you going to be dealing with some slick spots on the streets and some puddles, but you're also going to see your visibility drop a little bit. Even if it's not currently raining, the water is going to get kicked up behind the vehicles and drop your visibility a bit more. So just make sure that you are giving adequate space to the car ahead of you as you're heading out today and as well as tomorrow morning, because we'll still see some showers at that point and some wet roads. Otherwise, this eventually will clear out, but we are still tracking some rain chances over the next several days. That's because we have low pressure. If you take a look at our weather graphic, low pressure is going to slide through and kind of get stuck across parts of the Lone Star State. It's going to try to cut itself off from the main atmospheric flow, which wants to kind of arc over us, but this is going to dig in and really just get stuck across the area and continue to bring showers and thunderstorms over the next several days. Now, today and tomorrow, definitely the days that we are looking out for, the rainiest days. But a lot of that really begins to taper out by the time we make it to early next week. High pressure will build in, and that will clear out just a few of these showers and thunderstorms. But we still could see some isolated showers and thunderstorms early next week. Now, here's what we're looking at. Today, it really feels kind of like a Pacific Northwest day. This is kind of like something you'd see in Seattle or out in Oregon, where we see all of this rain and this gloomy weather, mild temperatures. So that's what we're seeing today. Tomorrow, almost a rinse and repeat of that. The good news is by the afternoon, there is a chance that we could get some dry weather in here before sunset. Friday, still rain in the forecast. We're going to continue to see showers and thunderstorms literally every single day over the next 7. Now, today and tomorrow, again, cooler, but then high pressure begins to take over, and that's really going to heat us up. So even though we are seeing those showers and thunderstorms Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, that's not necessarily going to have the same cool and gloomy effect as it does today. We'll start to feel a little bit of that heat and that humidity. That heat could give us a chance for some stronger storms, so we'll continue to keep an eye on that and solidify the forecast as we get a little bit closer to next week. But in the meantime, just make sure that you are taking it slow on those roadways and taking care of yourself in all of this wet weather. Make sure you have your rain gear handy and do your best to stay dry. All right, thank you so much for joining this CBS 19 Plus live stream. We appreciate you guys being here. I'm going to go ahead and get ready for our noon show. If you tune in to CBS 19, we're on the CW as well, or on CBS 19 Plus. We'll have more updates for you there. Thanks so much and have a great day.